For Unit 6, Assessment Review Number 1, Number 1 says the area of a rectangular coffee table is given by the trinomial x squared plus 2x minus 15. The table's length is x plus 5. What is the table's width? So right here, this is our trinomial. We need to factor that. We know that one of the factors is x plus 5. So let's go ahead and set up our x. So 1 times negative 15 is negative 15, and we're trying to get to 2. So the factors of 15 are 1 and 15 and 3 and 5. So which one of these factors can make 2? Well, 3 and 5 can if I subtract them. So 5 minus 3 gives me 2, and 5 times negative 3 gives me negative 15. So I can say my factors are x minus 3 and x plus 5. I know that x plus 5 already exists here, so x minus 3 has to be a. For number 2, the area of a rectangular serving tray is 4x squared plus 17x minus 15. The width of the tray is 4x minus 3. What is the length of the tray? So here is our trinomial again. We know this one factor. We need to figure out the other factor. So we're going to do 4 times negative 15, and that's going to give us 60. Well, negative 60. And the factors of 60 are 1 and 60. We really don't need that negative there. 2 and 30. 3 and 20. 4 and 15. 5 and 12. 6 and 10. So we need to figure out which one of these can get to 17. And it looks like 2 of them can. Okay, so if I want to get to 17, how do I do that? Well, if I do 5 plus 12, I get 17, but that means they're both positive, and we have a negative 60 up here. So this one's out. So let's try 3 and 20. Well, 20 minus 3 does give me positive 17, and if I multiply, I get negative 60. So I'm going to go with my factors of x minus 3 and x plus 20. I know that the first number I have here is 4, so I'm going to divide by 4. Since this cannot divide or reduce, I'm going to bring that bottom up, and I would have 4x minus 3, which is a match to what I was already given. And then here I can divide, so x plus, that would be 5. So I need to find x plus 5, which again is a. Okay, in number 3, it says to factor completely. The important word here is completely. I want to find a GCF. So as soon as I see completely, I think greatest common factor. And I want to know what goes into 3, 9, and 54 evenly. And it would be 3. And then I have to take the lowest x out since there's an x in every term. So that's just x. So then once I have my GCF, I'm going to go ahead and write that down over here. And I want to factor that GCF out by dividing. So 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. The 3 and this little tiny 1 would give me x squared because I have to subtract those, 3 and 1. Negative 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. 2 minus 1 is x to the first. And then negative 54 divided by 3 gives you negative 18. 1 minus 1 is 0, so we don't write that. Now, since it says to factor completely, we did do the GCF, but I also need to see, is this part factorable here? So really, when you see a problem like this, you don't normally see those 1s in there, so it looks like this. So I'm going 1 times negative 18 is negative 18, and I'm trying to get to negative 3. So my factors of 18 are 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. So it looks like 3 and 6 can get to negative 3 as long as the 6 is negative. So I would bring my GCF down, and I would say x plus 3, x minus 6, and then I would match this, and it looks like it's going to be D. And we can see, like, that's not going to work because it's just a 3. It needs to be a 3x. That had a 3x squared, so that's automatically out. That just has an x, so that's not a GCF of it. So really the only possibility we have here is letter D. Okay? Number 4, we're going to say which is equivalent to this problem here. And so it would be 9a plus 5b. Then this minus sign, I'm going to make these change signs by distributing a negative. So negative 1 times negative 3 gives me positive 3a. And then negative 1 times negative 8b gives me positive 8b. So if I look to combine like terms, I see that 9a would go with 3a. And 9 plus 3 is 12a. 5b and 8b would give me 13b. And this matches to letter C.